Carlitos, a curious Coqui. Written by Dr. Inés Arroyo. Story. Why does the Coqui sing at night? In one of Puerto Rico's mountain towns, there lived a curious Coqui named Carlitos and had just learned that his friends were moving to the United States. The news spread far and wide. The family was leaving because the parents had lost their jobs. The mother was a teacher and was not called to teach that year. Also, sadly, the factory where the father worked had closed. Over time, it would be difficult to give their children everything they needed, so in a few weeks, they would be moving away from the Puerto Rican archipelago. Carlitos couldn't believe this. After all the years he spent staring at them through the window, how could they just leave him like this? But this Coqui was wise, so he devised a plan for his friends to stay in Puerto Rico. That night, he gathered all his Coqui friends. After hearing the situation, the solution they came up with was to find a way for the family to make money. Carlitos' best friend, Marcos, told him that he once heard that money grew on trees. So, they both decided to talk to the oldest tree on the mountain to find out if this was true. When they talked to the tree, he told them that he would give them money if they sang to him every night. With that said, Carlitos and Marcos began to sing. They pronounced co as an abbreviation for comida, food in Spanish, and qui as an abbreviation for quítame esta pena, which means take away this sorrow. Thus, every night they sang, Coqui, Coqui, Coqui. Carlitos and Marcos sang all week, but the tree didn't give them any money. A week later, the couple and children were gone. Carlitos was very upset with the tree for lying to him, so he decided to keep singing every night to remind him that he never kept his promise. Many say this is why the Coqui sings every night among the Puerto Rican bushes. He still waits for money to grow from the tree. Story. The night the Coqui didn't sing. Carlitos wasn't going to give up. He knew there had to be a way for his friends to return to Puerto Rico. All his Coqui friends continued to sing and sing every night, though the tree didn't seem to care about his promise. One day, Carlitos stopped singing and decided to talk to the tree. Señor Arbol, why don't you give us money so that my friends can live here? They have children and need to eat every day. Please give us money so they can live here and don't have to worry about work. He asked. Carlitos, you still don't understand? Money doesn't grow on trees. The tree replied annoyed. Carlitos felt lonely. Why couldn't the couple find another job? Did they only know how to teach and work in a factory? That can't be all they can do. Carlitos, the curious Coqui, had a great idea. I'll look for a job. They must understand that hope is the last thing they should lose, he said enthusiastically. The next day, his friend Marcos got him a newspaper, as he had heard that it had a section to look for jobs. They are called clasificados, he said. Carlitos searched and searched until he found a tutoring job that would be perfect for the woman. In addition, there was a job for the man, construction. He was so excited that he completely forgot about the most important thing. How was he going to communicate with the couple if they were now living in the United States? Story. Carlitos, the Coqui, explains the blackout. Carlitos, is it true? I heard that your friends are coming back. Marcos shouted, filled with emotion. It had been pouring rain all afternoon. Just 2 days earlier, Carlitos had left a letter in the mailbox. He had written about job offers to his friends. The postman saw the letter and took it with him. This filled Carlitos with a lot of hope. Although Carlitos always thought that his friends had returned thanks to the letter he had sent them, the real reason his friends had to return was because the woman wanted to take care of her sick parents. In fact, the letter didn't even make it to another city. The postman just threw it away when all he saw were lines that didn't make sense. On the day Carlitos' friends arrived, there was an unexpected blackout in Puerto Rico due to a fire at a power station. It took more than 2 days for the employees of the power station to fix the problem. Ironically, Carlitos and all the other Coquis in the archipelago thought that nature wanted to celebrate their victory and, therefore, turned off all the lights. It was a beautiful, starry night. The only sound that could be heard was, Coqui, Coqui, Coqui. The song of victory was heard until dawn, and all because the family had arrived in their precious homeland once again. Story. The Coqui and the Hurricane. Carlitos, the curious Coqui, learned that soon another hurricane would be devastating his beautiful Puerto Rico. He listened to his human friends talk about the possibility of it destroying the houses and the electricity and water going out for many months. This scared him a lot, so he decided to get together with his friends. The other Coquis were also frightening and began to sing non-stop. That sounds terrible. People are going to lose their homes, and my human friends are going to want to leave Puerto Rico again. Every time a misfortune happens, the first thing they think of is to leave our land and seek a better life away from it. Carlitos said with tears in his eyes. So, what do you suggest we do? How can we stop this hurricane? Marcos asked. We'll have to meet Guabansex, the goddess of the winds. She's responsible for all these hurricanes, Carlitos replied. Marcos and Carlitos set off in search of Guabansex, who lived in Ometex. As soon as they arrived, they met with her, but Guabansex told them that there was no turning back, as she was already determined to send a hurricane to Puerto Rico. Why do you want to devastate my homeland? This is not fair. Puerto Ricans will lose their homes, avocado trees will fall, and we won't have electricity or water for a long time. Think about the children, they won't be able to go back to school for many months. The saddest thing is that half of Puerto Ricans will go to the United States as they always do, Carlitos said. Unfortunately, the hurricane destroyed houses, vegetation, and only the stars lit up the beautiful archipelago of Puerto Rico for many months. Story. The Coqui wants a mask. Carlitos, the curious Coqui, had noticed that humans were suddenly wearing masks everywhere. His friend, Marcos, told him that people wanted to talk less, and that's why they had decided to wear masks from now on. Marcos, I don't think that's why humans are wearing masks. I better go ask the Iguaca. Carlitos went to visit the Iguaca and asked him about the masks. Everybody's wearing masks because they want to hide their mustaches, Carlitos, the Iguaca said, as if it were the most obvious thing. Really? Then, I want a mask too. Carlitos answered, but what's the point, Carlitos? You don't need a mask. I mean, you don't even have a mustache. Carlitos didn't believe the Iguaca, so he decided to ask the gato. That's simple, Carlitos. It's a new trend. I've heard that people all over the world are wearing masks. They look so fabulous. The gato explained. Wow, that makes sense. I want one too. Carlitos exclaimed. Carlitos remembered that the gato was always making up stories, so he decided to ask the perro instead. Well, Carlitos, the reason humans wear masks is because they want to eat less and be thinner. The mask is very useful because it helps them not eat so much, the perro said. Carlitos was still not satisfied with the answers, so he decided to ask the chango, because this bird is very wise, and always knows everything. Of course, Carlitos, the real reason everyone wears a mask is because they lost their teeth. Don't ask me why or how, but believe me when I tell you that they are very embarrassed, replied the chango with great wisdom and seriousness. Carlitos decided to give up. Whatever the reason, he didn't care anymore. He just wanted his friends to be proud of him. That's why Carlitos went in search of a mask, and when he finally found one, the entire forest remained silent for months. Carlitos, the Coqui, returns to school. Carlitos, hurry up, we're going to be late for school, Marcos shouted. Calm down, Marcos, I'm ready, cried Carlitos. Wow, Carlitos, I like your mask. Can I borrow it later? Marcos asked. I think that might be a problem, Marcos. Better not, replied the curious Coqui. When they arrived at the school, all the children lined up. One by one, the students washed their hands before entering the classrooms. Carlitos and Marcos looked at each other in confusion from a distance. Not only were students wearing masks and washing their hands, but all the desks were quite far apart from each other. Good morning, children, the teacher said, smiling. Welcome back to school after all these months. We will begin discussing our new classroom rules. Who can tell me the reason why we all must wear masks? Because our parents want us to talk less at school, Marcos replied quickly. No, Marcos. It's because of the coronavirus, Carlitos corrected. Oh, yes, that's right. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Suddenly, the dog got up from his desk and walked towards Carlitos. Where are you going? Go back to your seat, please. Remember the social distancing rule, the teacher exclaimed nervously. Minutes later, 2 of the students took off their masks, as they felt extremely dizzy. What a mess. I want to go home. Coming back to school was a mistake, the teacher said. That afternoon there was a meeting. Finally, a decision was made. Next week, students would begin virtual learning. Will Carlitos be able to cope? Will he like virtual learning? Does he have a computer?